What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Anthony with VR 3333366666555. It is 11 a.m. Today is Friday. It is February 8th. What is going on? Well, basically, you know, we've got a lot of little tiny stories today. But you know what? We're going to go ahead and cycle through all of this and we'll see where it leaves us. I do have a number of different miscellaneous trailers to get into as well. So we're going to be taking a look at a lot of different stuff here. But let's go ahead and start it off with the story of the day. And it is definitely the story of the day. And let me tell you, I got my own thoughts on this. And it might not agree with the way you think, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and get into it. So what we need to do first is we need to switch over to our tweet window. So let's go ahead and do that right about now. And this is the tweet window right here. And so this is coming from Dirt. And basically, what have they said here? Well, they said, "We heard you. At Oculus heard you. Dirt Rally 2.0 plus Oculus equals this summer. Hashtag rise to the challenge." Yeah, buddy. Okay, so what's my thoughts on this? You know, about this whole entire Dirt Rally thing. Well, I do have some thoughts on it. Let me go ahead and break it down for you guys. I'm actually going to switch up to a Redditor's comment that I think sums it up pretty darn well. So let me go ahead and switch over to that. And that is this comment right here. Now, this is from Redditor Micropeen. Okay, Micropeen. What an interesting name there. And this was 3 hours ago. This guy got 5 points. Upvote the crap out of this, guys. Okay, so here's what Micropeen is saying. He's saying, obviously, they were planning VR support all along, and this was just a PR stunt. No way would AAA devs just change their mind at the last minute and add months of dev time for VR if it wasn't already planned in the budget. And I don't know that I agree exactly with what Micropeen is saying here, but for the most part, kinda. I kinda do. So why don't we go ahead and switch back over to actually let's switch over to our Webby browser here. And let me go ahead and click on the Dirt Rally 2.0 story. And you know what? I thought it was a VR Roundtable episode. Yeah, we're getting VR. What's to friggin' complain about? Well, I'll tell you, Paradise. I'll tell you what to complain about here. I mean, yeah, there's nothing to complain about. It's all good. It is all, at the end of the day, everybody is getting what they've wanted, okay? At the end of the day, it is all going to work out fine for all of us. But I think you guys need to understand what basically took place right here. Have you guys ever heard the expression wag the dog? Okay, there's an expression called wag the dog. And Codemasters, oh my goodness, did they execute this flawlessly. This is a flawless victory, ladies and gentlemen. A flawless victory. Much applause. Bravo. Bravo. Bravo, Codemasters. Well played. Well played. Codemasters honey-potted the living crap out of the entire VR community, and you guys bought it hook, line, and sinker. Yes, that is my opinion on this, okay? Now, ultimately, you know, let's not get, you know, our panties in a bunch here. Ultimately, it's going to work out great for everybody, okay? So we get Dirt Rally 2.0 on Oculus, okay? Not on your Vive, not on PlayStation VR. We get Dirt Rally 2.0 on the Oculus Rift. Now, back when this whole thing started, now I thought this was on a VR Roundtable episode, but I actually think it was on one of my own episodes. One of these VR 365 episodes, when I was talking about this dirt rally thing. And I postulated, I didn't get time to find the actual video because I'd be like, run the clip. Let's go to the clip. Nostradamus Jr. knocking it out of the park again. I would definitely have done that if I found the exact clip. But what I said was, I said, I kind of believe that this is almost phony, and that basically they're saying, sorry, there's no VR, right? There's no VR for Dirt Rally 2.0. And then they know that the entire VR gaming industry is going to rally around this, you know, petition.org, rise to the challenge, Codemasters, come on. You can give us a VR port of this, come on, Codemasters. And so for Codemasters, it's all good. It's all positive because the way that they work this is they can say, hey, we were never planning VR support. We don't have the financial resources to do VR support. And then you get this petition going where everybody's like, please, Codemasters, come on, we need VR support. And now guess what? Codemasters is the hero now. They're the hero. Yay! Codemasters is our hero. Of course we all got to buy Dirt Rally 2.0 now. They rallied around us. They bought into the petition. They believed the petition and they rallied around and they're going to give us VR. And Oculus, of course, they come in and they throw some money. You know, they throw some money at Codemasters and they say, look, why don't we go ahead and do this? We're going to help you out. We will throw money your way. We get a temporary exclusive on the Oculus Rift for the VR version of this. And everybody's happy and everybody's none the wiser. Okay, now, I don't know for sure that this is exactly what happened here. But god damn, I really think it is. I really think this is exactly what happened. No, I am not high. I am high on life. That is VR_gamers. Anthony is high. No, I guarantee you, if you guys go back and you look at, I forget what VR 365 episode it was, but I was talking about Dirt Rally. I was talking about this exact thing here. And I thought, you know, what if this is all an elaborate ruse by Codemasters? What if they really have VR support? Like it's already done, but they're going to go through this whole entire thing and they're going to make a big deal out of it. And they get a ridiculous amount of marketing. Now they get to be a hero. Now everybody says, oh, Codemasters, they're my hero. They've come through for me, guys. I don't believe this for a New York minute. Okay, John Schrubeck says, Codemasters have history though, Anthony. They have history of honeypotting? I wouldn't doubt it. Something similar happened with Grid 2. They didn't include in-cockpit views and the gamers were very pissed about it. Okay, so they have a history of wagging the dog. Thanks so much, John Schrubeck. Thank you so much. But no, yeah, that is my personal opinion. Now, look, I will concede the fact that this is all speculation on my part, and this could completely be, you know, this might be totally legit. Let's pretend this is really legit. I don't think it is, but let's pretend this is really legit. Okay, yay, Codemasters is our hero. Yeah, let's all go ahead and buy Dirt Rally 2.0. All right, well, anyways, let's see here. What other stories do we have? Well, you know what? The next story I wanted to get to is PlayStation VR, guys. So let's go to the PSVR subreddit. Have you guys heard? The PlayStation VR subreddit now has 100,000. 147 escapists. 893 people are jacked in right about now. Yes, congratulations, PlayStation VR. We have hit the milestone. 100,000 on the PSVR subreddit. And you know, this is good news. There's no alternative way to spin this. There's no conspiracy here, right? It's 100,000 fake Redditors. Yeah, that's how we spin it. No, but yeah, this is all good news. Honestly, if anything, I'm actually a bit surprised that we didn't already have 100,000. You would think PlayStation VR subreddit would have more Redditors on that than any of the other VR subreddits. But that we've hit 100,000. It's great news. It's all good news. So nothing horrible about that. Okay. Now, the next little story that we want to get into, we can go ahead and stay in the PlayStation VR world. And right here, Sariento, PlayStation VR, we do have release date information. Okay, so if you go down here, basically what they're saying is May 3rd. So Sariento VR is coming to PlayStation VR in May 3rd. And this is news because we really thought that Sariento VR was coming in February. Like, people thought it was coming in February. This was one of the games I highlighted in our games of the month of February as a PlayStation VR port that we thought we were getting in February, but that did not happen. So they're looking at May 3rd, 2019. Now, they do admit, it says, while it is still a tentative date, meaning there may still be changes to the date, we think it is likely that this is the final date. Okay, so that is their plan. The team over there at Mixed Realms and Perp Games, I believe, might be involved with this as well. I think they're going to have a physical version as well. So we're looking at May 3rd for Sariento VR. All right, so that is story number 2. Okay, as we continue to go into some more PlayStation VR news, why don't we go back over here to our standard scene really quick here. And I'm going to grab a trailer. I'm not going to go to the main trailer window, but I am going to grab a trailer right about now and pop a trailer on the screen for a game called Ghost Giant. Okay, now this game is coming to us from Zoink Games. It is called Ghost Giant, and it is a PlayStation VR exclusive. And this game, we thought this game was a first quarter 2019 release. And you know what? I'm going to let's listen in on this trailer for just a minute real quick.
You least expected.
Help! It's real! It's no! Leave me alone! No!
From the creators of Fee and Flipping Death.
You look like you've seen a ghost.
That's the spirit. Comes a heartfelt story in VR.
I'm sorry I panicked. I've never seen anything like you before.
About trying to keep...
Okay, yeah, so this is Ghost Giant, and one of the reasons I wanted to highlight this is because I think this game is way under the radar in terms of our most wanted upcoming games, and I do believe this is a pretty cool PlayStation VR game that is coming at some point. Developer is Zoink Games, and it is in the news. It is in the news now. Actually, we can go ahead and go back over here to our place. We can go back over here to the PSVR subreddit. It's actually right here. So here's the story. Let me go to the comments here. And Ghost Giant is going to be launching this spring with simultaneously digital and physical release. Now, here's the deal. We don't have an actual date here. We just have spring 2019 for Ghost Giant by Zoink Games. And also, if we go over here, physical release is only confirmed for Europe. But you know what? I think this is a really cool game. I think it has a really cool look. And I think this is a game that we should be keeping our eyes on. Ghost Giant for PlayStation VR. I think it looks pretty good. And this is not going to be published by Sony, to the best of my knowledge. So we probably will get this on our Oculus Rifts, on our HTC Vives, soon enough. A lot of these PlayStation VR games, they are going to make their way over. Yeah, see, if you look down here, Perp Games are making a major live PlayStation VR announcement at 2 p.m. This was the announcement. This basically was the announcement that Perp Games is going to deliver a physical version of Ghost Giant to coincide with the digital release in Europe. Now, here in America, the physical version is likely to come a lot later, but that is Ghost Giant. Did want to highlight that. I think it looks really cool. You can obviously see that you play like a giant character, and you're kind of like this god that is interacting with a little character. Kind of reminds a lot of people of Moss. You know, a little bit of Astrobot in terms of you've got a little platforming character that's kind of running around, and then you're kind of this giant guy that is helping it along. A little bit like Carly and the Reaper Man as well. You know, so a little bit similar to Carly and the Reaper Man, Moss, Astrobot in certain ways. That is Ghost Giant. I think it looks really cool, and I really hardly ever hear anybody talking about that. So I just wanted to kind of remind people, and this is looking like a spring 2019 game. Now, Mark P says, Ghost Giant looks good, but I'll never have a PlayStation. I hope it makes it to other headsets. Well, honestly, Zoink Games, they would really have to be out of their minds to not bring this to Vive and Rift and Windows Mixed Reality. Main Fan says Moss with worse graphics. Really? I don't know. The graphics look pretty damn... Like, if I'm looking at this trailer, I think the graphics look almost too good in this trailer. Like, when you see the buildings and the people riding their bicycles and all the little magical things that's going on in this little world, I think it looks like way more detailed than you'll ever actually get on PlayStation VR. But I think it looks pretty good. But yeah, I do believe this is going to make it, like over here, like right here, I think these graphics look really good right here. These little characters and stuff. I don't think it's going to look exactly like that on PlayStation VR. I really wish it would. But I do imagine this will make its way over. A lot of PlayStation VR games are going to make their way over. Patience is a virtue. We've seen this countless times. Games like Apex Construct, games like Archangel. You know, there's so many games that hit PlayStation VR. Moss. What about Moss? Moss is a perfect example. Moss was an exclusive on PlayStation VR, and I don't even think it was 45 days later we got Moss on the PC VR headset. So I think these games will come over. It's just a matter of time. And I think Sony, what Sony is doing here with a lot of these exclusives is, I believe it is a co-marketing kind of a deal. So Sony goes to a lot of these companies and I think they say, look, you give us a 45-day exclusivity window, we will do a co-marketing campaign. We will feature you on our digital store. We will feature you on our YouTube channel with a special launch trailer. You know, we'll do this, we'll do that. And a lot of these smaller companies, they might even kick out like, you know, $50,000 or who knows, $10,000 or whatever. They might kick out a little bit of money as well to kind of help with development a little bit. And a lot of these smaller studios like Zoink Games, it's very difficult for them to say no to that because they can bring it to PSVR. They can get a lot of sales there. And then they have everybody on the Rift and the Vive and Windows Mixed Reality that don't have a PSVR. They're feeling a little bit jelly about it. They kind of wish they had Ghost Giant. And then so a little bit over a month later, it comes to PCVR and they get that second grand opening celebration like Moss had, like Apex Construct had, like Archangel had, and so many other PSVR games that eventually made their way over to PCVR. And you get better visuals, you get improved visuals. We've seen this with Robinson the Journey. We saw this with Battlezone. We saw, and it's coming to Bow to Blood. Bow to Blood is another example of this. PlayStation VR exclusive, Tribe Toy, a window of time. Now it is coming to PC VR. It is going to look even better. It's going to look even crisper, even sharper. And they get that second grand opening celebration, almost like the whole early access thing. So that, of course, is Ghost Giant. Did want to mention that. Okay, as we continue to talk about more PlayStation VR type stuff, I got another minor little PlayStation VR story. I need to go back over to the tweet window here. So I'm going to go over here to this tweet window, but I need to change that. Micropeen, I agree, bro. I agree. Upvote Micropeen. Upvote Micropeen. Okay, so I do have this little story to get to. So Ivanovich Games, they've tweeted out this, and they're talking about it on the PSVR subreddit. They are preparing a 2019 full of VR releases from Ivanovich Games. They've got Beat Blaster coming in 2019 to PlayStation VR. They've got touring carts, coming in 2019 to PlayStation VR. They got a game called 1976, and they got a game called Soul of Seas. So all of these games are headed to PlayStation VR. Also, I believe all of them are coming to PC VR as well. So Ivanovich Games is getting out there. They're doing some things here. Why don't I go over here? I'm going to go back to our Webby browser over here. And yeah, it's somewhere on here. See, Ivanovich Games will launch 4 games during 2019 for PlayStation VR. Let's take a little quick look at the comments here. Something Mario Kart style. The pic suggests that. A shooter too. Yeah, hopefully better than VR Karts. Touring Kart 1976 and Soul of Seas. Never heard of any of those. The one thing that we have heard of, though, actually is what I'll do here. Let me go ahead and let's just go Gunheart Steam. We'll get to the Steam page real quick here. Because they do, the next game that Ivanovich Games has is, I believe it is called Beat Blaster. Beat Blaster by Ivanovich Games. This is their next one. And this is supposedly coming February. It's supposedly coming this month. I've ran the trailer for this already. I think it's a good idea. It's kind of like Beat Saber and a shooting game combined. Makes a lot of sense. We've got a lot of smaller companies that are doing this as well. I already mentioned that I think Dimension Hunter, Dimension Hunter by Pocket Money Games. When I was playing that, I thought, hey, they could do this to the beat. You got a thumping soundtrack. You're kind of dancing. You're playing along as you're playing Dimension Hunter, which I think is a pretty underrated game that is pretty cheap by Pocket Money Games. And here we are, man. Beat Blaster, they're basically doing it. This is Ivanovich Games. As I mentioned before, they are busy beavers. They're doing a lot of stuff out there. They did Operation Warcade VR, Final Soccer VR. They did Sea of Memories. Now you can see here, they kind of have a little Mario Kart game as well in Mini Bikers and Mini Drivers. So that might be kind of what Touring Karts looks like. Touring Karts. I have no idea what 1976 is. I have no idea with what Soul of Seas is, but they did do Sea of Memories. This is another game they did. So it might be a little bit like the Soul of Seas might be a little bit similar to that. But that is Ivanovich Games. They do have 4 games coming, so that is in the news a little bit. Okay, another little topic we want to get into, and like I said, today we've got a lot of little stories. Not a lot of big bangers, but a lot of little stories, and we're just going to go ahead and move through all these little stories. But one of the little stories we have is Halo VR. Halo VR has been confirmed. Oh my God, Megaton. Halo VR is happening? Well, not quite. But what we do have is something called Halo Outpost Discovery. So you can go to HaloOutpostDiscovery.com and you can buy tickets. This is coming to like different locations. Let's see, it's coming to Orlando, Florida. It's coming to the Orange County Convention Center. This is coming to Philadelphia. It's coming to Chicago, Houston, Texas, Anaheim, California. You know, they've got different dates here. You can buy tickets. And if you're a hardcore Halo fan, you can get all up in the mix with Halo Outpost Discovery. Now, what does this have to do with VR? Not a hell of a lot, but if you scroll down here, you can see this. Hall of History, The Ring Experience, Covenant Escape, Combat Deck, Training Grounds VR. Okay, let's click on this. Training Grounds VR. Through the lens of virtual reality, teams of 3 will simulate what it takes to be a Spartan in an immersive Halo-themed combat training environment. So I hope this isn't the crappy Halo thing that we had for Windows Mixed Reality. Hopefully they are custom making this as a better little VR thing. But you know, it's always good to kind of see Halo and VR mentioned in the same place at the same time. Now, it's not exactly what we're looking for. We want Halo, well, we want VR to hit the Xbox is really what we want to have happen. But at least it is a glimmer of hope in the minds of Halo fans everywhere that would love to play Halo in VR. You know what I could tell you right now? Here's what I would love. I would love the Master Chief Collection to be in VR. That would be super cool. I'd love to play like the original. I'm surprised somebody hasn't figured out how to mod it with the original Halo game that was on PC, right? The original Halo Combat Evolved, that's on PC. Where's the modding community when you need them? You know, mod that into VR. I would love to run through the original. Like for me, going into the original Halo game, you know, walking down those hallways and just being around Halo and with this very simplistic graphics, I could imagine Halo, especially the very first Halo, would work real good in VR, would run really good, and I think it would be awesome. I would love that. Now, a lot of people are wondering, well, when are we eventually at some point in time, Microsoft is going to enter the VR game? When is that going to happen? And my prediction about Microsoft and VR is basically they missed the boat on this last generation. They passed on VR. It worked out fine for them. Everything worked out great. Now we're waiting for this next generation, PlayStation 5 and Xbox, whatever the heck they're going to call it. So basically, the way I see it is, we have to wait for these new generation of consoles to launch. And what year is that going to happen? Is that going to be November 2020? I think PlayStation 5 is November 2020. I don't know if Microsoft is coming in November 2020. But the problem is that we're going to have to wait an additional year for VR. Neither of these major corporations, Sony nor Microsoft, is going to drop two bombs on us simultaneously. They're not going to drop a bomb of a brand new console and a VR headset on the same day. They're not going to do it. It's too much money for anybody to have to fork over in one fell swoop. So unfortunately, guys, I think November of 2021 is our first opportunity for PlayStation VR 2 and for Xbox VR. So unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be playing any kind of a Halo in VR until at least November 2021. I really hope it's the Master Chief Collection. That would be awesome. But if you want to get into these training grounds VR, if you're in Orlando, Florida, or Philadelphia, Chicago, Houston, Texas, etc., you can go ahead and check this out. This is the Halo Outpost Discovery. All right, another little thing I like to get into every single day. And Zinovator says, why would they compete with their Windows mixed reality partners? But they wouldn't really be competing with them because it would be on the Xbox console. You know, it would be locked down to whatever this Xbox console is. So I don't consider that competition. That's like saying PlayStation VR is competing with Oculus Rift. Not really. Now, when Oculus has the Quest, yeah, they are competing because they're both going to be in Walmart. They're both going to be in Target. They're both going to be in Costco. They're both going to be in these packages for $399. That's where the competition is, in my opinion. But if Microsoft brings out a VR headset for Xbox Infinity, which is my Nostradamus prediction for the name of the next Xbox console, Xbox Infinity, baby. It is coming in 2020, November of 2020. Nostradamus said it. You gotta believe it. Okay, let's go to our Oculus Daily Deal. This is something that we talk about basically every single day. We've been checking on this. I love this because you know what? It gives me a little 3-minute segment to go to every day. I love it. So what is the Oculus Daily Deal? It is Spheres. Spheres is the daily deal. Now this is going for $8. It is 20% off. The standard price on this is $10. Now this isn't a game, guys. This isn't a game. What it is, it's a 3-chapter interactive virtual reality journey. And you basically go through 3 individual pieces of interactive, mildly interactive virtual reality entertainment that I think is done fantastically well. I think this is awesome, in fact. I really like Spheres. I think it's done very well. I think it's worth $8. Eventually, we gotta figure this out in terms of making non-gaming stuff that people are willing to pay money for. And that's what they're doing here. This is a little bit of a higher end experience than just the average free thing that you get, than your Google Spotlight stories or whatever. It's free on Steam. This is a bit of a higher end experience, and there's 3 pieces to it, and each of the 3 pieces is rather unique. And there's some interesting stuff that goes on this. I'm a fan of Spears. I'm pretty sure I voted for this as my non-gaming, basically like my VR experience of the year 2018. I believe I voted for this for VR Roundtable. I think Spheres is really good. Full disclosure, you know, I don't know if, I think Gary actually bought it for our VR Roundtable account. So, you know, full disclosure, I mean, you got to pay money for this. There's 3 chapters. Chapter 1, Chorus of the Cosmos, narrated by Millie Bobby Brown. And then we got Chapter 2, Songs of Space-Time. That is narrated by Jessica Chastain. And Chapter 3 is Pale Blue Dot, which is narrated by Patti Smith. I actually liked Chapter 3, Pale Blue Dot, the best of the 3. Songs of Space-Time is really cool. It's all about a black hole. And then Chorus of the Cosmos is talking about Planet Earth Sings. Our solar system becomes a musical instrument as we discover the universe through sound. But I think it's pretty cool. Space and VR are a marriage made in heaven. And it's another interesting aspect of this is you would think with a space background and with like stars and all that stuff, that this would be a Mura disaster for a lot of our headsets that just can't do black, and then we're just looking at Mura. It doesn't look very good, but I don't know what they did in Spheres, because I honestly don't notice the Mura very much. I don't even notice like God ray problems all that much. Only when it's doing the opening sequence and it just has spheres in white letters on an all black background, you notice the God rays there. But after that, I hardly notice the God rays. So I don't know that, I mean, and the Mura effect as well. So they did a pretty damn good job with this. I'm pretty impressed with this. This was done by City Lights, and the release date for this was back on November 13th, 2018. Well, the publisher is City Lights. Didn't they pay like $1 million for this or something? Or was that a different one? Can't really remember. Anyways, so let's go to the next story we have. Okay, so the next story I got is related to Asgard's Wrath. Now, we know that Asgard's Wrath is one of the biggest upcoming VR games of this year. We believe it is tentatively scheduled for a July 2019 release. So this is probably going to be a big summer banger for Oculus this July. And there is a Game Informer story. There's like a major story in Game Informer, which is this thing. It's known as a magazine. It has actual paper. You turn pages. It's this weird thing from a forgotten era of time. Back in the days, people used to use these things called magazines. And Game Informer has a breakdown on it. And we have a Redditor that has given us all the juicy information. So let's see if I can find it here. Let's switch over here. So here it is, info on Asgard's Wrath from Game Informer. Hopefully I won't get sued for this, because I don't know that we're supposed to be revealing this information like this, but oh well, I didn't do this, this guy did. Oh, guess what? It's Arthan's VR. We know this guy. He has his own website where he's always talking about new VR stuff. So basically, he grabbed the digital version of Game Informer, the March issue, and he's given us a lot of information here. I'll just go ahead and read a little bit of this. Okay, so you can use the God altars to switch between God and human form. In God form, you can manipulate large objects for Frody. So Frody is Frody the redheaded girl that's running around? I'm guessing that's who she is. You can convert a bull to create a partner named Steinar, who specializes in ramming things. Other animal companions include Stiggy, a bipedal frog who uses his tongue to grab inaccessible items. Another is Rolf, the wolf who howls to destroy crystals. We also saw one that looked like it was like an eagle. I think an eagle that you can use as well. There's 2 other characters, Ingrid and Stikon, that need your help. You can interact with these companion characters, like shaking hands, giving high fives, etc., to build your relationship with them. You can even slap them around or let them die repeatedly, and they will develop unhappiness with you. We did see, actually, in one of the screenshots, they basically were high-fiving that frog thing. I didn't know it was a bipedal frog, but now we know it's Stiggy, the bipedal frog. Ingrid's quest involves a boss battle against a goblin broodmother in a dungeon, and you will be using a throwing axe, which you can summon back with a gesture. She has a vendetta against the god and is reluctant to accept the god's help to complete her task. 40 hours of gameplay, including side quests, unlocking hidden areas, etc., 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 and there are some exclusive screenshots. So basically, he says combat seems to be physics-based. You can parry, block with a sword, thrust shield to stagger enemies, pick up and throw item weapons around the room to slowly chip them down, behead a hell soldier and throw its head at its comrade's head to knock the helmet off. As Frody, I believe Frody is the redhead, you can cast magic spells or knock enemies with your staff. So anyway, lots of cool information there. You might want to actually check out the Game Informer article for more information on that. Okay, let's see. What other stories do we want to go to? Well, you know, one thing we can talk about, Angry Birds VR. It came out yesterday. I still have not played this yet. I have not been able to sample this firsthand yet. But Road to VR has a review for this. Angry Birds VR review, redefining a mobile powerhouse for the virtual age. And if we scroll all the way down, if we're basically one of these people that just looks at the numbers, like, I don't care what you wrote, brah. I just want to know, what are the numbers, brah? What are the numbers? 8.5, that is very good. Gameplay got 8.5, immersion got 9, comfort got 9. And I believe this is Ben Lang on this. Let me go up here and see. Is this Ben Lang? No, this is Scott Hayden. Okay, so Scott Hayden of Road to VR is the one that is doing this review here. And Scott is saying that this game has a ton of comfort because there's no need for room scale movement, and it primarily relies on teleportation. It's an extremely comfortable game. I wouldn't hesitate from throwing a VR first timer in, especially one that's played any of the Angry Birds titles. Thanks to this, the game can be played entirely while seated. And he also says, Angry Birds VR, bright and lovable cartoony world, is even better in VR than I'd hoped, injecting you straight into a well-realized environment that seems, for the lack of a better word, flawless. The game's cutesy soundtrack plays throughout and never seems to grow old, even after powering through the game in one sitting. Yeah, see, I've always said, like, my personal theories with this game, having never played it myself personally, is I imagine that this just has ridiculous amounts of polish, ridiculous production value, the sounds, the little jingles, everything is probably there. And sometimes we miss this, having a really well dialed in experience. And that is probably what Angry Birds VR Isle of Pigs is. I'm going to try to get into this one way or another. I have reached out to Resolution Games trying to see if I can get a code. But if I don't get a code, I'll probably just end up buying it or something like that, because I do want to sample this. I do want to check it out. But that is Angry Birds' pretty good review on Road to VR. Okay, so, the next thing I want to get into is I heard a little bit of talk about Cinemax Spaces. Have you guys heard about this? Spaces, your portal to adventure. Terminator I cannot talk today. Terminator Salvation, Fight for the Future. So this is out there, guys, and it's coming actually to the San Francisco area, opening February 8th. That's today. So it's already out there. Century 20 Oak Ridge. They have this. You can get tickets. It's out there, man. We've seen the trailer, I believe, this Terminator Salvation, Fight for the Future. We have seen this trailer, but guess what, guys? I've got an incredible, goofy, interesting trailer here. Actually, if we go over, let's see, let me go to VentureBeat. If we go to VentureBeat.com, VentureBeat.com. Let's see if I can find this article, because VentureBeat.com, they have a story about this. Here it is. Terminator Salvation, hands-on at the Cinemark Spaces location in San Jose. Okay, this is our boy Dean Takahashi. Look at his face on there. That looks incredible. That looks hilarious. Spaces has opened its virtual reality entertainment center in a Cinemark movie theater in San Jose, California. It's all about getting people off their couches so they can be entertained in theaters instead of staying home and watching Netflix all day, because you know that's what most of us do. So yeah, they got this thing called Spaces. It's in San Jose, so the next time I bounce over to San Jose, I'm definitely going to have to check this out. There's our boy, Dean Takahashi. He's a Sacramentan. He's a Sacramento native, actually, I found out. But they have an interesting little trailer. Look at, you know, it digitally puts their faces. Like, that looks so goofy and so silly, but I'm sure it would be really fun to check this out. And so they get to talk with, they talked with James Meredith of Cinemark, and that is Shiraz Akmal of Spaces. They talked to both of them. The road ahead, you know, pretty nice article here on VentureBeat. This looks like a pretty detailed article, so you might want to bounce over to VentureBeat.com, give them a little bit of love. Try to avoid all these little pop-up ads everywhere, because they will get you. But I do have this goofy trailer right here that they did with Dean Takahashi's head on a body and all of that, so why don't we go ahead and check that out really quick. I am going to switch over to our standard scene, and I'm going to pump the volume on Ghost Giant, and we're going to check out this trailer
together.
It's time for television.
With a little help.
Terminator Salvation. Fight for the future.
Look real good. Please place your hands out in front of you so that we can
Hey,
use
Dean.
your blasters.
Yeah.
Over here.
Hello. Yeah.
You look.
Welcome to the training grounds and the front lines.
Yeah.
Guys around you, get accustomed to those blasters.
Look at. And Dean just looks so happy.
What are you guys looking at?
You look happy.
CES. Yeah.
Troopers, radar's picking up targets. Make sure you're checking your surroundings. Go, 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 go! Out of the transport pod.
Yeah, there we go.
Blast you up.
We're gonna edit that out, bro.
I know. Yeah, God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Woo!
I don't know, the audio's kind of bad on this, but look at that. That is classic right there. That is so classic. Look at these heads that they put on people.
Oh my God.
Wow.
They keep coming.
Yeah, I got to turn down. I don't know why the audio's like all skipping and jumping around. I don't know if that's their video or what. But I don't know, it looks pretty cool. I mean, Terminator, guys. Wouldn't you like to be an animatronic Terminator guy that's shaking around like this? You know, like you're hungry for your next fix. Look at these guys moving around. They're like, all their limbs are like, you know, shaking and vibrating. But this actual Terminator scene that they're in, I got to turn their volume way down. I'm sorry. They need to redo the audio on that. But yeah, that is Spaces, theme parks and attractions. And I'll go back over here to our standard scene. But yeah, audio not too good there, but I like the idea that they are scanning your face and then they're putting your face into the game. Face off. Face off. You know, they're putting you into the game. Chris says, this could be the worst trailer I've ever seen. Well, I think it has the worst audio I've ever seen. And I do wonder, why is everybody's arms like shaking and vibrating? I'm not sure what that's all about. Kevgret says, why spend $50 on something like this? Just invest in the home experience. Here's why you spend $50, Kevgret. Because your face is in it, brah. And you know what they probably do? Like, one of the things I'm guessing, it might be part of this. Look at Dean Takahashi's elbow that's vibrating like crazy. But one of the things they might do is maybe they give everybody that goes through this, maybe they give everybody a video clip, like a mixed reality video clip, so that they can show their friends and family later, like, look at me, I'm in a game, look at my goofy face. It's actually in the game. But yeah, I don't know. I think the game does look pretty cool, though. Just looking at the backgrounds and the Terminator and stuff. You're basically just walking around. You know, you're walking around in a relatively small little area here. You know, they got you confined. You can see they've got barriers up. And so you can just freely walk around in this space. And then basically they have different things that happen all around you. I'm all for this, man. I think location-based VR entertainment is going to be huge. I really think it is. I'm not saying necessarily this is going to be what brings everybody into VR, but I do think this is going to be a big deal. I really do think location-based VR entertainment is going to be massive. And I do like this idea here. Now, the idea that I want when I go to one of these places, I want to go to one of these places. I want to stand inside something, and then it goes zzz. You know, something goes all the way around me and goes zzz. You know, scans my entire body. And so I want, you know, like it would actually have this shirt on me. It would actually have my jeans on me. It'd actually have my shoes. And then so when I'm in the world, I see everything like it really is. I think that would be super cool. But yeah, that is Spaces. Cinemark Spaces virtual reality experience. Doesn't look too terrible. Okay, speaking of trailers, I've got another trailer to go to. Now, this thing is called ProTube VR. I believe that it is going to be hitting Kickstarter very soon, and this is basically one of these gun stocks. But the idea here is to have a much more professional, a much more dialed-in gun stock. Now, I'm not a gun stock guy because I don't play Onward, I don't play Pavlov, I don't even play Contractors. I'm just not into those games. I suck at them. I die immediately. You know, I'll go in there just to check it out and see how pretty the graphics are. But that's pretty much the... Oh, you know, it looked like Ding Takahashi. He walked over there to that button panel, and it looked like he activated something. That's a good idea. Like, my recommendations for all of these people, give us buttons, give us knobs, real physical items that we push, we turn dials, we pull levers down, you know, flip something up. Give us physical things to touch while we're in the world as well. You can do actual high fives and stuff. This is just a hilarious little video here. Okay, but let's go ahead and check out this ProTube trailer. I think it's very, very short. But let's go ahead and check this out. ProTube VR. Wow, this was a pretty lame trailer. Like, it doesn't really show you anything. I know there's other videos of this. But yeah, this is basically this ProTube VR thing. It's expected to hit Kickstarter. The one nice thing about it is this piece right here, where it goes into like your shoulder area, and it actually gives you that legitimate kick. That is something I've wanted. You know, that is something like I want an aim controller. Really, I want a PlayStation VR like aim controller for like the Rift, for Vive. But like this is so specialized. This is really for like the Pavlov guys, the Onward guys, people that really get into these things. And I don't get in that much, but I would love something like this, but made for PC VR and made better. Like this thing goes for, I believe you can buy this gun for $59.99 if you just buy it by itself. Now, when something is sold for $59.99 in a retail box, That means that they can make it for about $15. Probably not even that. They might be able to make these things for about $10, and then they sell it for $59.99. Now what I want something that is like $100, like $99.99, or maybe even $129.99, where it would cost the actual manufacturer people, it would cost them maybe $30, $40, $50 to actually manufacture it, and it would be a lot stronger. It would have a lot more powerful kick to it, a more powerful rumble, maybe even like a built-in speaker where like the little bullets are flying out of the chamber and it makes a little sound right there where it would be, like accurately and perfectly tracked, where this sometimes loses tracking. Like anybody that has played Farpoint or you've played Firewall 0 Hour, this thing gets all discombobulated and then you have to shake it to get it back in line. But I would love to have something like this by Oculus or Valve where it really became a standard in PC VR. But if you are a Pavlov guy, if you're into this, ProTube VR might be the way to go. The gaming future. ProTube VR. A lot of people also call it like ForceTube. I don't know what the deal is with that. I'm going to go ahead and switch back over here to our Webby browser and set this down here. And see, can I get some extra information on ProTube? Let's see here. ProTube VR. And ProTube VR. ProTube VR. When I hear ProTube VR, I think it's some type of YouTube thing. Like some type of thing for YouTubers to improve their YouTube situation. Okay, so here is ProTube VR. Fill the game. ProTube VR is now available for PSVR. You can see, they've got it designed to work properly with Oculus Rift. They got it designed to work with HTC Vive. And, it's a good idea. I mean, it's definitely a good idea. Apparently, it is coming to Kickstarter. And not my type of thing. Definitely not my type of deal. But I appreciate people that want that realism. They want to feel it. They want it to really feel like they're really holding the right type of gun. So that is ProTube VR. Alrighty, well, you know what? I'm pretty much out of all of the little stories that I had to run with today in terms of prepared stories. But what I can do is we can just go ahead and check out some of the subreddits. We can see what okay, so ForceTube is the one that has added haptics. And ProTube is just the standard version. Alrighty, there we go. That's the information we needed. Yeah, because I hear a lot of people talking about ProTube and then ForceTube. Okay, I get it. Force feedback, duh. Okay, force feedback is the one that has that extra thing on that red part there that kind of kicks you right in your armpit. That's actually what I would want. See, although like MainFan says, you're going to lose accuracy. It's not going to have that same kind of accuracy. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and bounce over to the Oculus Rift subreddit and let's see what's going on over here. And everybody's talking about the Codemasters thing, and I really wonder, like, how many people are really like, yay, Codemasters is our hero. We love Codemasters. And how many people think what I think, where they think this is kind of bogus, but oh well. Let's just pretend it's all good. Let's pretend it's all good. Let's pretend they're not wagging the dog. Let's see. Angry Birds VR dev, we are working hard to add more content and levels to the game. Stay tuned. So there's going to be some more content. They are bringing that over to PlayStation VR as well. It will take a little bit of time, but they are bringing that over. And that's pretty much it over here on the Oculus Rift subreddit. Let me go ahead and check Vive real quick, see if anything new's popping off over there. And this is taking a little while to upload. So here we go. Okay, so I'm using the new Vive subreddit, the new version rather than the old version, just because like the pictures and stuff show up a lot better. Cartcraft now has VR. Let's check this out. Cartcraft, y'all. Trying to click on it. Doesn't seem to want to work. Here we go. Oh no, it's giving me a bad page. Anyways, whoops. Bad here. Never mind. We'll go to the PlayStation VR subreddit. Any little last minute stories on PSVR? Not really anything going on over here as well. Let's take a last minute check of like Upload VR and Road to VR just to look at some of the major stories in the gaming industry real quick. Okay, so best PSVR games. They got a breakdown of what they believe the 25 best PSVR games. The full list is out there. I can go ahead and check out this and just see what it is. Borderlands is at 25. That's kind of surprising it would be down that far. Dirt Rally at 23. Arizona Sunshine. Deracine. Creed Rise to Glory at 20. Static. Transpose. Upload VR really likes Transpose. They've always really liked Transpose. Bow to Blood. Downward Spirals. Aura Station. Farpoint. Wow, at 15? I would think Farpoint is easily one of like the 8 best PlayStation VR games, I think. Rec Room, yeah, Res Infinite. The Exorcist Legion VR, wow, they have this ranked really high. The Exorcist Legion VR, I don't know, I thought it was okay. Oh, Tetris Effect, guys, remember, the Tetris Effect demo is live again right now, starting February 8th. For this weekend, the Tetris Effect demo is live and in effect. A Fisherman's Tale, they gave that a pretty high ranking. The Persistence, Moss at number 8. Beat Saber, I'm surprised Beat Saber was that low. Skyrim VR, Resident Evil 7 down at 5. See, I'm wondering like, okay, Wipeout, yeah, Wipeout, super hot. Astrobot, what's number 1? Oh, Firewall 0 Hour, really? They put Firewall 0 Hour at number 1, Astrobot number 2. Super hot. Yeah, I mean, I can't argue too much with this list. I mean, it's pretty decent list here. I'm kind of surprised they have a Fisherman's Tale ranked really high for such a new game that is good, but it is quite short. And Tetris Effect is also on sale right now for $30. So that is on sale as well. All right, guys. Well, you know what? It's been about an hour. I need to get out of here because I got a guy that is working on my bathroom still, and I got to help him with some stuff. I got to help him move some really heavy items. So he's kind of waiting on me for me to finish this show. So I need to bounce out of here. Let me go back over here to my standard scene. Let me get my little outro logo. And that will go ahead and do it. All right, yeah, that's going to go ahead and do it for today's episode of VR 365 Live. Everybody have a wonderful Friday. I will be back tomorrow on Saturday. Now, of course, remember, our Saturday shows start about 12 noon. And Sunday, I'm not sure if VR Roundtable is going to have an episode this Sunday or not. That is still up in the air, but I will definitely be having an episode on Sunday regardless. But that's going to go ahead and do it. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a good one. Take it easy. Later.